Bienvenidos worldwide Sin Amigos. This is Jaime En Fuego. You're back on Enfuegotainment, where I'm always covering the hottest entertainment with an edge. And for a special Enfuegotorial, look who I got again with me.
What up? It's Cecil Laird. How's it going?
What's up, guys? It's gonna be a very deep bit of nerdiness that we're jumping into. No, we're actually just talking about the fact that Deadpool, a comic book film of the nerdtastic variety, but of the R-rated variety, making a redonkulous amount of money, has surprised some people in the industry. And this is a geek kind of, having the last laugh, Mr. Rob Liefeld. What's your thoughts on all this, man?
It's crazy. I knew the marketing was great. Everyone knew the marketing was great. So the movie had a lot to live up to. But based on the marketing, I was sort of on the side of Mr. John Schnepp, who I guess believed it would make over $100 million, right?
That was his guesstimation, and most people in the industry were saying, nah, maybe 50, 60, 70-ish, maybe. We're really pushing it, though. And it nearly doubled those expectations, which is just unheard of. It's crazy, man.
It is totally crazy, but I completely had faith in Ryan Reynolds. He's talked nothing but passionately about the project for over a decade now.
Yep.
It's great to see him sort of get to have his cake and eat it too.
The last laugh as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's really nice. He got to do the movie, and he's going to get to reap the benefits, and he's going to get to do more of them. So it's,
and they stuck to their
exciting.
guns, and they did the movie their way. I mean, the way that they thought that the character deserved to be portrayed, and it was rougher on the edges than what most people thought was going to work. That's why it took over 6 years to even get made, was because of the fact that first it was going to be R, and then they wouldn't greenlight it, and then it went to PG-13 script stage, which was altered. Ended up getting it made, but it just had so many hoops and stuff to jump through just to get it done, which was nuts. But it must be very, very vindicating for them. So yeah, expectations were high within the nerd community and the comic book readers, the sweaties as John Schnepp would call them. But yeah, man, it exceeded everyone's expectations. Crazily enough, in its opening 3 days, well, actually Thursday counts, I guess. It had the highest ever Thursday night opening. It had the highest ever opening for an R-rated movie ever. It beat The Matrix Reloaded. It ended up leaping over 130 million. I believe the final estimate was 132.9, something like that. But even bigger was worldwide in its opening weekend. It broke 300 million in its first 3
weekend.
days.
That's crazy.
Man. So I think that a lot of people just, for me, underestimated the popularity of Deadpool. I can't tell you how many times we were covering conventions in the last few years, and more Deadpools every single time.
Every time.
More of
them. It's Deadpools and Harley Quinns.
Yeah, at this point, and honestly, look at both of those characters getting their time in the sun now and getting the spotlight properly, presumably.
We're going to see even more. That's what's going to be crazy. It's going to literally be Deadpool, Harley Con. Coming up, but rightfully so. The character is hilarious. He's funny. He's fun, and he's on the side of the angels. It's nice. He's the merc with the mouth. He might not have started off as the greatest guy, but now he's a guy that everyone gets behind. And so what we wanted to talk about, and what you and I sort of thought of independently and came together on, is that how is this going to change things?
Yeah, we had the same idea at the same time, the same day, which is pretty nuts about it. We were just thinking, okay, if an R-rated movie of this nature can make the kind of money that it did, why can't we see more of them? And in turn, is Hollywood going to jump on the bandwagon and all right, all R-rated ones, you finally get approval, and we're going to let you make it as brutal and bloody as you want. And someone like James Gunn actually got very vocal about this.
He made very good points, stating that some studios are going to take the wrong lesson from this, and that
maybe make it gratuitous.
Exactly, something because Deadpool was foul-mouthed, just greenlight a foul-mouthed movie. Because it was violent, greenlight all over the top violent movies.
It's what the kids want.
Exactly, but that's not the deeper nuances that Deadpool offered. Is basically what Mr. Gunn was saying. He said Deadpool offered deep story and sort of developed characters, and sort of, yeah. It's basically, he's saying it's not going to be as easy to replicate as some studios are going to think it's going to be.
Yeah, and that's a foolish kind of thing, but that they're always wanting to jump on the next trend, even when it's not necessary. And so I just think, there was an underestimation, my part included, about just how big people in droves are going to come out to this character, and I guess the casual fan probably did as well, and all of that combined together. And so now we may get some R-rated films that are gratuitous, unnecessary, whatever, but I would venture to say that this was as big of an opening for a film, where just like the presence of the game changing in this type of filmmaking since like the first X-Men movie, maybe, you know, because new stuff is going to be thought possible that never was before.
You know what I predict coming in the next 2 years? I predict we're gonna, or probably within the next 6 months. Actually, I'm gonna speed that up.
We have to now.
I think we're gonna get an announcement from DC, from Warner Bros. DC, saying that they're going to have greenlit a Lobo movie. Because Lobo is essentially DC's answer to Deadpool. I mean, I don't know which was actually created first.
Lobo was definitely before.
Lobo was first. Okay, but basically he's the last Zarnian, a race of another planet of creatures, all of the rest of which he killed.
I always thought he was a Wolverine ripoff, personally.
But and that may as well be. But he basically he regenerates from a single cell, just like Deadpool can. So and he has awesome, hilarious language with the Bastich thing, and it's over the top violence. But his is a little less fun than Deadpool. Exactly. But I guarantee he's going to come now, which I'm happy about. Honestly.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not that surprised, because even though this is something we touched upon in both our spoilers review and the regular one, is the fact that for me it felt more like a comedy masquerading as a superhero movie, maybe in a lot of ways, because there was action, but it wasn't constant action. There was a lot of character-driven parts and comedy-driven parts. The humor, I felt like, propelled a lot forward in that film, and so I don't know. I think it was, they put Van Wilder in a superhero suit, because the language, everything, the tone, that was what it ended up feeling like to me. And it worked.
Yeah, and he's been in a superhero suit before, and it didn't work. Yeah. So,
I guess the point I'm making is that raunchy comedies have worked in the past. Stuff like The American Pies and things like that.
Oh, I see. So literally taking the Van Wilder character, sort of, and putting it, in a superhero suit. I see what you're saying.
Putting a movie like that, where they're just like, hey, let's take that character, and what would he be like if he somehow was immune and disfigured and unfuckable, as he says in the trailer? And naturally, exactly.
Now, from this point, Fuego, what do you think? Now, is Fox Studios, a question I have going forward is, are they now going to overkill Deadpool? And obviously they've got a sequel, but are they going to now try and stuff him into all the X-Men movies?
I don't know if they're necessarily going to do that, but I do believe X-Force is going to be R-rated.
And you think he'll show up in that?
Oh, well, yeah, he'll be a part of the team. I mean, they're going to add Cable in the second one, and then in turn, the third film is going to be kind of like the Avengers equivalent, which will be the X-Force.
That's kind of cool. That's honestly, that's kind of cool. I didn't think about it that way, but
and they're probably going to have Gambit tie-in. They're going to have everybody jumping in this post-apocalypse world that Kinberg has been mentioning, and so
I keep forgetting that cool. Deadpool takes place post this upcoming Apocalypse movie.
Exactly.
It's interesting to think about.
So I guess it would be McAvoy then, but
well, I guess we know that Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead are going to survive Apocalypse.
They're a part of it, or maybe they don't even show up till after.
Who knows? Maybe who knows what's going on with them? But
because we don't know how much further Deadpool is, because they were using modern cell phones and stuff, and Apocalypse takes place in the 80s. But it's an exciting time to be a superhero fan, and I guess the main thing that we were talking about here was just how many new doors will potentially be open, and unfortunately,
are they good doors?
Are they good doors? Maybe it is like Pandora's box, where now the switch has been flipped, and so executives, we're going to see a lot more raunchiness, for better or for worse. That's what I'm thinking.
But some will be better, some will be worse, but
we've seen some over the years. Watchmen, Kick-Ass, I enjoyed those. V for Vendetta was also good.
Yeah, they've done R-rated superhero themed movies before.
R-rated Punisher, the Warzone one.
Was Warzone R-rated? Okay, all right. That wasn't bad. No.
I think the original Punisher was R-rated too. So
yeah, that one was a little lacking in the R-ratedness department, but
something interesting I want to ask you about. It's actually something that Rob Liefeld mentioned in he was a guest on the Heroes show that John Schnepp does, and so shout out to Schnepp again, man. What up, homeboy? You're awesome. Anyway, so when Liefeld was on there, he was like, it's funny how things changed over the years, where these type of genre films had to be PG-13, whereas he was like, when I was a kid, or at least when I was in my teens and stuff, back in the 80s, the Terminator films, the Alien films, and Die Hard, all this stuff that all the kids wanted to go see, it was all R-rated. That was the stuff you and I grew up on, too.
Absolutely.
So
and we turned out just fine. We didn't create a horror show or anything like that.
Nothing whatsoever. Nothing's, scarific. We're not scarred at all.
No,
but, I mean, do you at least see how maybe this is a hearkening back to that older time, and maybe that's why it was successful?
Absolutely. And it's a loosening of the reins in the upper echelon of Fox, and it's the same thing.
They had to wait for some new people to come in.
Yeah. Well, it's the fans, the real fans of the character are coming in and being allowed to make the movie. So, okay, let's start doing that. Let's not just have random directors. Let's make sure we have directors behind the scenes that actually know the characters very well. Ryan Singer. You know what I mean? So let's mimic certain aspects of how Deadpool was made, but not all of them, guys. Not all of them. The behind the scenes, let's follow that formula. Get the right people to do it, and it's gonna be a hit like Deadpool was.
Yeah, and it was a just insane hit. That's the biggest thing about this. That's
crazy.
so mind-boggling,
and
but
so
you know
exciting.
What?
So exciting.
Absolutely, because now we can see that R-rated Spawn or something cool like that. Where they wanted to tone down a character. I mean, it doesn't need to be overly gratuitous. I guess that's what Gunn was saying, right? If you're doing it just for the sake of trying to be sensational as opposed to fitting the narrative and the characters or whatever, well,
it's not going to turn out as well if you're
not
just doing
at all.
it for those
That's
reasons.
where the line is drawn in the sand.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys. Unless there's anything to add, I think we have at least bounced upon the Deadpool train for the final time. We did the regular and the spoilers, and so check those out here on the channel. I got to extend a grande gracias to Cecil for both of our minds working in the same fashion and saying this is a prolific event. This movie making a retarded amount of money just shows a changing of the guard a little bit.
Absolutely.
So in the taste of popular culture and moviegoers in general. So
absolutely.
Anyway, guys, I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube, obviously doing Enfuegotainment. And then Cecil and I have a project together that we mentioned a couple times already, but he's going to give you the full details.
Absolutely. That's a horror variety show on YouTube called The Horror Show. It's at youtube.com/The Horror Show channel or thehorrorshowchannel.com. We do horror movie reviews, how-tos, comedy sketches, celebrity interviews, con coverage, let's plays. All kinds of things, all under the horror umbrella, so check it out.
Indeed. Always lots of fun, and always lots of fun talking with you guys, the San Amigos across the planet. This was once again an Enfuegotorial. That's me getting down with an editorial, and yet putting my particular spin on it. I know. Yes, sounds fantastic. So in any event, guys, I gotta extend the grande gracias once more, and until we get to talk cinema once more, the hottest entertainment with an edge. Adios, and I will see you later, but let's make it soon. Peace.